Hey everybody, it's Trisha Knitting Lady. I'm showing you my painting back there. It's a rose, a little abstract. Did that quite a few years ago. So I'm sitting here on a Saturday afternoon. I guess the lights are coming on. It's getting late. And we have 2 weeks till Christmas. I went to the mall before because I haven't been to a mall in a while and I just went to see. Nosy. Plus, I like to get out and walk. I usually try to walk an hour every day. Don't always succeed. So I said, oh, let me go to the mall and walk. So I went into the calendar store. Didn't see anything I wanted. I like to get those crocheting or knitting calendars. They didn't have any of that. I'm going to have to look online. Like I need another knitting and crocheting calendar. You know, they do have patterns in them sometimes that I use. So I'll go on Amazon and see. But there were lines to get into a lot of the stores. I wanted to go Bed Bath & Beyond, and there was a line because I wasn't sure what I wanted, so I couldn't see waiting in line just to walk around the store unless I absolutely knew what I wanted. So I didn't go in. So I got my exercise. The mall was very crowded, you know. People always go to the mall. They're trying to build up this one mall near me. I think they put in a couple of new stores, but I was looking at the stores to come, and they're supposed to put a pizza place in there. And I was like, boy, I could have really liked a piece of pizza, but it hasn't come in yet. So let me go to trivia. You know, I have to do my trivia. And the question for today is, I'm trying not to rattle things too much, is what is the capital of the United States state where the country's deepest lake is? And the choices are Salem, Salt Lake City, or St. Paul. Well, the United States deepest lake, which is the 9th deepest in the world, at the depth of 1,949 feet, is Lake Crater. I've been in Oregon. I did not visit that. You know, I love to travel. So every time I run across something I haven't been to, I put it on a list. Okay. Next time I go to Oregon, I have to go and visit that. So it rests in the belly of a dormant volcano, and it's not fed by any rivers or anything. It's fed solely from rain and snow. It's very deep. It's very blue. So I thought to myself, well, how do they keep it so blue? They must restrict boats, and they do. So in the summer, only 2 small research vessels and 3 tour boats are allowed to operate on Crater Lake. And those boats have environmental precautions built in. No other watercraft are allowed. That includes kayaks, canoes, rafts, fishing boats, and float tubes. I remember using a float tube to go down the Delaware River. Fun. Fishing is allowed around the lake shores, but no boats are allowed. So I think that's good to keep it, clean. It's very clean. It's very blue. It must be beautiful. So, birthdays. Diane Warwick was born in 1940. Bob Barker was born in 1923. I forget what show he was on. Like I said, I'm not a big TV person, so I don't remember half this stuff. And Frank Sinatra, and I'll tell you more about Frank Sinatra later. What else could I tell you? Oh, I have another trivia question. for you. Let me get to it. I'm trying not to rattle these pages too much. I found that yesterday. I was playing too much of the pages, and then all you could hear is me turning pages. Okay, which Disney movie inspired the Beatles song, Do You Want to Know a Secret? And there's 3 choices: Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, or Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. And the answer is Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. The opening lines of the one song I'm wishing is, or whatever. The first 2 lines are, want to know a secret, promise not to tell. Julia Lennon, John Lennon's mother, used to sing that to him. So that, I never knew that. And I'm a big Beatles fan. I always thought John Lennon was always Mr. Tough Guy. So I guess he had a soft side to him. So let's go into Frank Sinatra. In my house, my father hated Frank Sinatra. I think he said he was connected to the mob. He hated him. My father had not crazy ideas, but he had his set ideas about things. And you didn't fight with him about it. You just let him go. He loved Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett was allowed to be played in our house, but not Frank Sinatra. But my father wasn't home all the time. Worked 2 jobs. So we used to buy the albums, Frank Sinatra albums, and hide them and play them when he wasn't around. So the way our house was, we had a big picture window, and we lived on a main street, and a bus rode down that street. And you could look down the street and see who was getting off the bus or who was getting on the bus. So I remember one night he was due home. We only saw my father twice a week, Wednesday nights and Sundays. And the other time he was working. He would come home to sleep, but we were in bed by then. And that's the only time we saw him. So must have been a Wednesday evening, and we were waiting for him to come home to eat dinner, because when he was home, we always ate dinner with him. And I remember I was the lookout, looking out the window, and we're playing Frank Sinatra, and Mother says, keep an eye out for your father. Tell me when he gets off the bus. So I remember yelling to him, Mom, he just got off the bus, put the album away. So we put the album away. This is the way we had to do. He also did not like the Kennedys. You did not mention the word Kennedy in my house, because then he would start. My brother had a girlfriend who lived on Kennedy Boulevard, and she was coming over to eat. And he said to her, please do not, if my father asks where you live, do not say Kennedy Boulevard. Make something up. He won't know. Well, she slipped and said Kennedy Boulevard, and my father started. And my brother said to her later, didn't I warn you? It's just the way he was. But like anybody who's strong-headed like that, you can get around it somehow. You know. But anyway, back to Frank Sinatra, who was a fantastic singer. He was born in 1915, died in 1998. He was born in Hoboken, New Jersey, which was in Hudson County, where I was living. I lived in Kearny, New Jersey. Kearny, New Jersey was part of Hudson County. And I worked in Hoboken for a while there for the railroad. Hoboken, you can't afford to live there now. It's very expensive. It's definitely not the Hoboken that Frank Sinatra was born into, or when I was younger. it was a really rough waterfront town. The, the movie, oh dear, the Marlon Brando movie, On the Waterfront was filmed there. But now, like I said, we call it Yuppieville. You know, it's very pricey. Frank Sinatra's least favorite song was Strangers in the Night. But it was his first hit in 11 years. It stayed at #1 slot for 15 weeks. The only part of this song Frank Sinatra liked was the scat portion, you know, at the end. Doobie doobie doo. That's the only part he liked. And that scat portion inspired TV executive Frank Silverman in 1968 to change the name of a cartoon dog he was promoting for a TV show to Scooby-Doo. My son used to watch that. But I always liked that song. But Frank Sinatra didn't like it. I'm sure he appreciated the money he made off of it, though. Also, he had his own line of jarred pasta sauces in 1990, which I didn't know about. It was a flop, though. Maybe that's why. I grew up around Italians. I know how to make sauce from scratch. So, and to this day, I don't buy much jarred sauce. I'll buy it once in a while in a pinch, but I usually make my own. It's not that hard to make. But Sinatra released the Sinatra Celebrity Cookbook in 1996. It had recipes by himself, his wife, Barbara, Katharine Hepburn, Kirk Douglas, Whoopi Goldberg, and other people. And you can still buy the book on Amazon. In fact, I looked it up. It's $19.99. And you can find Mama Sinatra's marinara sauce recipe still. Dolly Sinatra's marinara sauce. It's very simple. I looked at it. In fact, talk about basic Italian food. There's a restaurant in Hoboken. It's on the less wealthier part of town. The town's it's only a mile squared, is Hoboken. But of course, there's better, every town has their better neighborhoods. I've been to Leo's Rendezvous. In fact, one of my old boyfriends, I worked for a railroad, he worked for a railroad. He was a locomotive engineer. I just was in payroll. But he used to take me to Leo's. And Sinatra, that was his favorite restaurant. When he came back to the area, he used to always go to Leo's. In fact, we knew when he arrived because doors would start closing. We couldn't go in certain parts of the restaurant. And I remember we were there one day and we were sitting at the bar eating our appetizers and what else. And the owner says to us, because he knew my boyfriend, because his family was from Hoboken. In fact, his mother had been a teacher in Hoboken for years. And he says, "Oh, Frank's here. Do you want to go say hello to him?" So we just walked back and waved to him. I didn't bother him. You know, I'm not one to get autographs or anything. I figured they get enough hassle, these people. You know, I have another story to tell about meeting other famous people. So try to remind me. I'll tell you another time. Also, my father's favorite singer was Tony Bennett. I happened to meet Tony Bennett. I had a longer conversation with him. And just remind me, I'll tell you that story another time. But, so I looked up who's in this famous celebrity cookbook, the recipes. Kirk Douglas has a recipe for veal Oscar. In fact, I mentioned Kirk Douglas the other day because he just died this year. Katharine Hepburn had a recipe for lace cookies. Whoopi Goldberg had a recipe for Jewish American princess fried chicken. Well, you know Whoopi Goldberg's, that's not her real name. Jay Leno had a recipe for Uncle Louie's chicken wings. And Barbara Sinatra had pasta visual. I love good pasta visual. In fact, now I have to look up a recipe. I don't remember recipes half the time. I always have to look them up because I'm a soup eater. I would like to make some pasta visual. And this is my last bit of trivia on Frank Sinatra. The last song he performed is on his tombstone. His last performance was in February 1995, and he sang to around 1,200 people in Palm Desert. And the last song he performed was "The Best Is Yet to Come." And the words "the best is yet to come" is on his tombstone. Isn't that interesting? You ever think what you would want on your tombstone? Well, I'm not going to have a tombstone, so I don't have to think about that. I have a whole, mine is all prepared. I know. And I'm going to take the money, my insurance money, or whoever, my son's in charge of all that. He's just going to have a big party. You know, I'm not going to have the regular burial. I told him, just have a big party, invite my friends, play all my favorite music, tell all my favorite jokes, have fun. I know you're all going to think I'm a little crazy, but that's what I want. I don't want your traditional funeral. So how do we get to that, huh? Enough about that. See, this sort of thing doesn't upset me. It upsets some people to talk about. It doesn't upset me. But if it does, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you, you know, because like I said, some people get upset about it. So with that, I'm going to leave you. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.